Hello and welcome back to Mario Kart Wii, where in the last episode we played through the Star Cup on 100cc, and this is what we're going to be playing through the Special Cup on 100cc, and we are going to be using Bowser. Wait, have we used Bowser yet? Let me check. We might have used Bowser already. We have not used Bowser. Okay, good. And I don't want to... I already played as Peach twice. I want to try not to replay as characters if I can. And we're going to be using the new bike we unlocked last time, which is the Shooting Star. Manual transmission, of course. And let's start up the Special Cup on 100cc. Let's do it. So you may remember at the end of the last episode I said something about saving a certain conversation topic for the next episode. I like this bike. I don't really remember a whole lot about the bikes and their stats because I don't typically play... Oh, the handling's a little bad though. Like, the non-drifting handling is a little rough around the edges, but the outside drifting, this is... Okay, maybe it's a little rough. It's a decent bike, I'll say that. It's... Ooh, wow, I almost avoided that. Actually, this might not be all that great. My initial impressions were good, and then it turned bad. Sorry. Anyway, okay, so, I mentioned something, I got another comment. Ah, how timely. Do excuse me, I'm gonna pause really quickly. You're not gonna see a pause, but I just got a response to the comment I got at the end of the last episode. Because the person asked, did you get to see Toy Story 4 yet? And I said, yes. Yes, I did. And as I expected, the response to that was, did you like the movie? So, if you excuse me, after I finish this first lap and throw... Oh, never mind, you're gonna enjoy that spiny shell, and then I'm gonna skirt past you. Throw that green shell backwards. I'm gonna reply really quickly. Okay, so basically I just replied saying... wow. My reply was, Toy Story 3, Andy. Thing makes you special is never good when you no matter what, I'll be there for you no matter what. Toy Story 4, Woody leaves to explode the Robo Peep, and then I said I don't think I need to say anything else. I will probably get a response to that like, what? But emotions! And that leads me into what I was going to talk about this episode, which is... So, Avengers Endgame. Here's the thing. If you know anything about me, I do not like Marvel in the sense that they are corrupting every corner of the Disney parks. They're turning Universe of Energy into the Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster. They're turning a Bug's Life land in Disneyland out into some sort of Marvel fiasco. The entirety of Tomorrowland has been corrupted by Marvel and Star Wars land. Or not Star Wars land, but at least in California. That hasn't happened in Florida yet, but, you know, we'll wait. We'll wait and see on that one. But, so, what I'm getting at here is, from a Disney park perspective, I absolutely hate Marvel, which in turn led me to have a bit of a personal bias against the Marvel movies. But, so, in 2018, the hype surrounding Avengers Infinity War was bonkers. It was absolutely bananas, and so I said to myself, I guarantee you, I don't know anything about the previous Avengers movies or anything, I guarantee you I predict the plot of this movie. So I wrote it all down on a piece of paper, And I was talking to my friend, and my friend's like, dude, you're not going to predict it. And I said, oh, really? Well, how about this? Let's both sign off on this piece of paper, we'll seal it up, lock it away, and then after you go see the movie, you can tell me how right I was. And would you look at that? Everything I predicted was 100% right. Interesting. So this year, I did it again, and I said, well, I was right last year, let's see if I'm right again this year. And then I brought it to one of my other friends, and I said, I'm trying to get as many people to sign off on this as possible. And she said, I'm not going to look at that sheet, you know that, right? Because basically the claim was, these movies aren't, because I said these movies are predictable and bland. And then she says, no, they're not predictable, they're not bland. And then immediately proceeds to not want to look at my prediction sheet. Which is interesting, because you'd think that if these movies really aren't predictable, then you wouldn't have a problem looking at my prediction sheet, right? Interesting. Anyway, so that's the setup to the setup. There's another setup that I'm going to talk about in the next race. The Forgetful Gal 45 is a massive Marvel fan. The Marvel characters mean a lot to her, and they are very important to her. Like, they were important to her as she grew up. So, as a result, she asked me if I wanted to go see Avengers Endgame with her, and my immediate thought was, but I agreed to go just because she wanted to do it and she wanted me there, so I said yes. And you know what? At least maybe I'll have a good laugh at my expense. And then I saw the movie was 3 hours long, and I'm just like, what? Do you guys not have editors? Okay, whatever. So then and people are like, they couldn't have edited anything out. Really, they couldn't have edited out the, like, 2-minute long scene where Ant-Man kept going back into the time machine and coming back as a different version of himself. Couldn't have edited out the scene where Hulk does a dab. Couldn't have edited out the Fortnite stuff. They couldn't have edited out, you know, the thing where Hulk is like, or, hey, you want to take a picture with Ant-Man? It's like, really? You couldn't have edited any of this out, huh? None of it? Not a single scene? Okay. Well, whatever. That's a different tangent. So, she said that. I said, okay, we're going next weekend. Okay, cool. And then she asked, how many Marvel movies have you seen? I said, I think I've seen, but at that point I had seen Iron Man 3. I saw myself getting crushed. I saw Guardians of the Galaxy, which I actually did like. I actually really did like Guardians of the Galaxy. I will admit that much. And that was it, I believe. So, she heard that and she almost had an aneurysm. She's like, what? You gotta see them all. You gotta see them all. Like, I'm not gonna watch, like, 20 movies over the course of a week. Well, guess what? Forgetful Gal 45 happens to mean a lot to me, as I'm sure you figured out at this point. And she wanted me to, you know, she wanted me to have as good of an experience as her. And I said, well, you know what? If she wants me to experience this movie with the same level of knowledge she has, and you know what? Sure. So I figured out a way to watch every single movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe over the course of 1 week. How did I do this, you may ask? Well, you see, it was very simple. On Saturday, I watched Iron Man, the Saturday before release. I watched Iron Man 3. I watched Iron Man. I watched The Incredible Hulk, which, ow, my everything. I watched Iron Man 2. I watched Thor. I watched Captain America, the First Avenger. I watched myself go about to... Oh, wait, no. Mushroom. Oh, that was so close. That was so close. I watched Captain America, the First Avenger, and I watched The Avengers. Then Sunday was... there's all the Phase 2 movies. I think that's Iron Man 3, Thor the Dark World, Captain America Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Ant-Man, and Avengers Age of Ultron. And then, because those are weekends, I had the time to do that. Over the course of the week, then I watched 1 or 2 movies a night. Monday, I watched Doctor Strange and Captain America Civil War. Tuesday, I watched, what did I watch Tuesday? I forget. It was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, I think. Well, yeah. Then Wednesday was Spider-Man Homecoming. Thursday was Thor Ragnarok and Ant-Man and the Wasp. Friday was Avengers Infinity War. And then we went to see the movie on Saturday. So that's the setup. After the first setup, now I'm going to tell you about why I've been talking about this at all. for the actual day that we went to go see it, like, the act of driving to go eat lunch together and then driving to the theater to see the movie together, the act of doing that, like, the two of us will always be a really good memory for me. So obviously I'm going to look back on that day with fond memories and a special place in my heart, because of that. But the actual movie itself was, my god, it was such a mess. It was such a mess. Like, there's small stuff, right? There's really, really small stuff that you could count as insignificant, like how in the world is it daytime in Africa and the United States at the exact same time when Hawkeye's family disappears? Okay, sure, we'll go with it. Then there's, you know, some other stuff, like, I don't even remember all of it. I know that when I was watching it, I'm just thinking, like, okay, how. Then there's big stuff, like the entire time travel thing. It's like, movie, you do not get to insult movies like Back to the Future when your own time travel movies make bug all sense. Please stop before you embarrass yourself. Like, stop trying. It's not working. So, that was that. Then there's stuff towards the end. It's just like, how is it that Iron Man is able to snap when the Hulk was barely able to do it? Also, no, I don't care about spoiling Avengers Endgame because at this point it's been out for 2 months at this point. If you haven't seen it, you're probably not going to, and even then, I've been holding Avengers Endgame spoilers as like a hostage. Like, people think. Okay, so in my programming class, one of my friends was reading was reading something about Endgame, and then both the teacher and the other kids in the class were like, "What, are you reading something about Endgame? Stop it! Stop reading! I don't want to know! I don't want to know!" And it's like, he wasn't reading it out loud; he was reading it to himself. Mega Martian in first place, interesting. So it's like that'd be like when Charlie Thorne in the Last Equation comes out in September, and I don't read it because I go to school, right, and then I come home and read it. Like, if I'm at school, I see somebody reading Charlie Thorne in the Last Equation, and like it'd be like if I said to them, "Dude, please stop reading Charlie Thorne in the Last Equation. I haven't read it yet. It's spoilers, right?" But I can't even imagine saying that to somebody. Like, just don't look at the book that they're reading. My god, it's like, what? Like, people are just insane about Endgame spoilers. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make here, finally, if I can get my words out. So, however, to somebody who really, really cares a lot about these characters, and like they've grown up with them and they've seen them mature over the years, I can understand why you would enjoy watching Endgame, because there is a lot of character work, right? There's a lot of stuff that I almost just fell into the abyss that would have been really bad. There's a lot of stuff like the scene where Spider-Man comes back and him and Tony embrace each other. There's a lot of emotion, like there's a lot of payoffs for characters, and I can see why you would like that. So I can see why someone could say, I really, really loved watching that movie. It was really emotional. But here's the thing. Emotions do not define a good movie. If emotions define good movies, then you could just say any movie is great. You could say The Room is like, The Room is a great movie because I got emotional because of da-da-da-da-da. You see how easy it is to say that. Like, you can't just wash away any criticism with, well, emotions, therefore, ha. So the reason why I thought about that last time is because my reaction to Toy Story 4 was, yes, I cried, it was emotional, but that doesn't make it a good movie. We're separating my subjective reaction to its objective quality, right? This makes sense. So, but for Avengers Endgame, nobody knows how to do that. Like, not a single person, and we'll talk about that in Rainbow Road. It's like, I had an argument with somebody where we were talking about Avengers Endgame. So, basically, somebody said, I'm trying to figure out if I want to go see Detective Pikachu this weekend or if I want to go see Endgame again. And I said, somewhat jokingly, man, that's a hard choice. The implication there being that they're both so terrible that, like, it'd be hard to determine which one you want to waste your weekend with more. And obviously you would pick Detective Pikachu just because, one, at least Ryan Reynolds is sort of funny, and 2, because it wastes less of your time. But somebody else nearby, like, spiked up like I insulted their sister. It's like, are you implying that Endgame is bad? I said, yep, I'm not implying it. I'll say it. Like, I'll happily admit that to you. And then, like, so they cry, like, they said, it was so emotional. I said, just because you cried doesn't mean that it was a good movie. And his response was, I grew up with these characters. Okay, great. Well, I could have grown up with, I don't know, like, what's a like, really, like, what movie do people not like? Like, what's a universally not? I grew up with, you know what? So, okay, so, Forgetful Elf, and also I went to go see Men in Black International. I mentioned this in a previous episode. Neither of us were expecting it to be that good, and I think because we had such low expectations for it, we actually ended up enjoying it. It wasn't all that good, but we still, you know, we enjoyed it more than we thought we were going to because our expectations were so low. But that'd be like if I said, well, I grew up with the Men in Black characters, and I got emotional, like, seeing all the callbacks to the first Men in Black movie. Therefore, that means Men in Black International is a great movie. So it's like, do you see how this doesn't really work when you apply it to something that you don't like? Like, I just don't, so, if the reaction to Endgame was, yeah, it's got a lot of plot issues, but I got a lot of emotional reaction out of seeing all the characters and the payoffs, then I'd be like, okay, that is fair. That is 100% fair. You are welcome to have that. So I will not take that away from you. But the reaction instead is that it's like the best superhero movie ever made. And it's funny, because, I was saying, like, I was talking to somebody else about it, and they said, well, I mean, that final battle was so good, though. And I said, yeah, I'm sorry, I need a little bit more than, like, a massive action scene to convince me that the movie is good. And they said, but it's an action movie. I said, really, it's an action movie with only one big action scene, huh? Which, by the way, that may sound like I wanted more action. No, what I'm saying, what I mean when I say that is that I am countering the idea that because it's an action movie, it's fine. But no, because if it was an action movie, there would be more action scenes in it. That doesn't work. And actually, I was fine with the idea. Like, a lot of people say it was slow, but I was actually fine with the idea of it not having all that much action just because of all the character stuff. The problem was that what the movie doesn't make any sense. So it's just like, I don't... Look, Forgetful 45, enjoy yourself. We had a fun time that day. That's... At the end of the day, that's all I can hope for. It just annoys me just a small bit when I see so many people endlessly, relentlessly defending this movie, when at the end of the day, the only defense that they have for it is, well, my emotions. It's just, like, if somebody wants to actually discuss, like, fundamental things about the movie, like, you know, the plot and everything, if you want to discuss that, I welcome you to try to convince me that this movie is actually good. But it that's a little cheap. You pow blocked me right as I hit the ground, huh? That's nice. Like, but if I have a conversation with you and the only thing you can say is I cried, therefore it's good, the conversation's not gonna go anywhere. So that's my thoughts on that. I probably pissed a lot of people off this episode, but you know, I'll deal with that in the comments as it comes. Anyway, let's go to the awards ceremony, shall we? You got first place. Star ranking, and now it's time to unlock a very special character. You got a present from Super Mario Galaxy. Congratulations, you have unlocked Rosalina. So, this is either the hardest character to unlock in the game or the easiest. You can either unlock her by star ranking every single mirror Wii cup, which is bananas hard. Or you can just have save file, you can just have a Super Mario Galaxy save file, and then once you play in 50 races, she will unlock, so long as you have that save data. So, you know, it's it's either wicked easy or wicked hard. So that's how that rolls. You won the special cup on 100cc. Congratulations, you have unlocked Me Outfit A. Yay! You scored a star ranking in the entire Wii Grand Prix on 100cc. Congratulations, you unlocked a medium bike, the Sneakster. And that'll be it for this episode. So, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for next time, and I hope to catch you all tomorrow for some more Mario Kart Wii. Goodbye!